What's up, my people? My people, what a week. What a balling ass week. Oh, man. Um, it was a good week, good trading. Bunch of people in the community passed accounts, got some payouts. Life was good. Life was good in the house last week. So we're just gonna keep it rolling. We have a monster week coming up. FOMC, obviously. A lot of stuff going on geopolitically with the war and or quote unquote war, not war. Nobody wants to really announce if we're at war or not. Um, but just so many things going on, and I feel like there's going to be so many subtle announcements that are going to affect it. There's a crazy amount of news. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. I'm not going to talk too much about politics or even fundamentals right now because those things are going to play out. And as you hear more news and as they release whatever kind of data that they want to release, it's going to affect certain currency pairs, certain markets. So there's no need to even try to predict. We're just going to look at the charts and we'll just go from there. As always, we start with the bonds. And I don't even have to move past the weekly. As you can see, I've had this potential target on my charts for quite a while, and which is ultimately the quarter three low from last year, and that's just what I want to see. So it looks like we're moving towards it, and we had a little divergence at the top between quarter four and quarter one this year, and let's see how strongly or how quickly we get there. Um, the very next thing I want to talk about is obviously the dollar, and this is so important. It's it's almost laughable now, the way it can be predicted. How we get there and the mannerisms and which we get there, I'll leave that up to whoever calls the shots, but the charts will tell you always what's going to happen. Um, I have this level right here in yellow because it's the caution zone, right? And for me, it's I want to see us break through it. Let me turn my thing on. I want to see us break through this, and I want to see us retest some of these imbalances here. And I think this is exactly what's going to happen. So as you know, when oil is up, inflation is up, the dollar's up, right? Because higher inflation usually means the Federal Reserve may keep interest rates high or even raise them. And higher interest rates attract global capital, increase bond yields, um, and it, it- I don't I don't necessarily think that it would be wise for uh, countries to put their money into the dollar right now, especially with everything going on. But when you have these type of yields on your bonds, it's free money, so why not? And I don't know how soon they'll flip it. However that works, that works. But the dollar is going to rise, and we'll just see for how long. You may see a pullback here, but I expect FOMC to literally say we're going to raise rates, and that's going to just cause higher inflation. Um, and these are the decisions of the people that are chosen as leaders. So, is what it is. But yeah, continue accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So dollar up this week. Um, this is actually going to be a pretty easy forecast because we're just going to kind of slide through it. It's everything's pretty straightforward. On indices, very bearish on indices. Right, people pulling the money out of U.S. stocks, right? So um, we've had three ugly weeks. I mean, disgusting weeks on indices. But I think this week we actually get some movement. We get a nice fall. As you can see, of this range, of this total range. Um, Let me move this range up. Of this total range, um, YM has crossed over the 25% threshold, and we're hovering around it on NQ and ES. But I fully expect us to come test this level. Um, so you have We have this level I want to see tested on NQ. Same thing for YM. You know, that area, so right around the 50% level. And we'll see what happens from there. But bearish on indices, and so slight pullback we should get and continue sell off. So I'm not looking for anything bullish on any indice on any day. I'm not going to even play the game of counter trend back into the range. So what I do like, all right, you know what? Let me rephrase that. I may take some scalps back into the range, and I'll tell you why. Because I think as we continue to sell off, and this is my H4 range. I think as we continue to sell off, you will get some clean movement back in here. And we could even take a previous week high. This is asking. This is asking to be ran. Not so much on NQ, and YM is very heavy. But this, especially ES, is asking to be ran. And if we do get some movement on NQ, we could take that here, and then we could create some type of divergence at the top. So, depending on how we open up Monday, if we open lower and maybe NQ doesn't take the low, maybe I'll look for something back into the range up here. So that's that. A quick look at NVIDIA. I want to look at it on a weekly. So we tried to push up. We could not get any sustained movement up here, right? So for this, and everybody knows what I like to see. All right, look at this. Tested it perfectly on NVIDIA on the blueprint, and then sold off. So even if we come to fill this imbalance, anything here, I don't expect any movement above here, above previous week high. So you could get something back into the range here, and then it's continued sell off. So all my options traders, do your thing, do your thing. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so since we are positive on Dixie, I'm looking for a sell off on EU, GU, NZDU, also USD. Sorry. No. Okay. So we took previous year high and we just immediately sold off. I do expect us to come back into the same thing, to come back into this range. Now we have a little bit higher range. This is our yearly range. Ooh, what am I doing? So on the weekly, this is my yearly range, right? So playing. Shit. Let's put that on the weekly. My bad, guys. Playing. All right, let's go back to the weekly. So this is our year, last year, and I do expect us to come down, start selling, testing, retesting some of these levels. You know, who knows how far we get there, but just as far as the weekly, I'm bearish. Look, we created a crazy volume imbalance here. There's been just, I mean, it was a good week. It was a good week. So just 4 days of straight sell-off. And if you even look at the daily, we didn't even come back really to test the open of the previous day except on Wednesday. Everything else was just straight bottom. So I do expect to sell off here. I don't do levels so much as far as, oh, look, check the price at 113 or check the price at 111 500 or whatever else. I trade failures, right? So failure swings here, right? All of this is just asking to get ran. Then you have another set of accumulation right here, gaps to fill here. I don't know, you know, obviously we'll get some type of movement back up, but in the long term, you know, we're just looking, this is our quarter three low. So I would like to see that ran. But I actually would like to leave this target for after FOMC. So if we can start to get a pullback up here, maybe even test these levels here, even test these levels here, and then a sell off here, then would love to see it. Would love to see that. GU, same thing. Um, love the way we closed, even on the weekly. Look at that. My favorite weekly setup. This actually should be a weekly play right here, right? So this is my favorite weekly setup, right? And engulfing, right? We swept, closed below, nasty. So when I'm looking at price, oh no, we'll get back. I want to see us come back into this range, at least this range, and then continue to sell off. And what do we have here? Where are our targets? I don't know what that is. Some ocean. What are our targets? Our first target would be this, right? We have our second target was right under there, right? Right under here, right? That's the target. And if we want, even if we want to use our deviations, right, or projections from, we use our projections, right? That's right at our first standard. This is right in between 1.5, but our second standard, right? Right, right in between our two and a half. And even if we get down here, look at our 4 and 5. Look at that. To the tick. I mean, literally to the tick. I can't even make this up, man. Must be random. Must be random. So anyway, um, yeah, I'm going to actually be looking to buy and hold on my personal account on EUGU, and yeah, we'll just see how that runs. That's actually beautiful. I'm glad I looked at it. Thanks for staying. Thanks for watching. um, this is probably my favorite pair to trade this week. NZD is so weak. NZD is a commodity currency, but not so much. It's not as powerful as Aussie. So Aussie has been sustained because gold has been sustained, and so when gold goes up, Aussie typically goes up, but NZD doesn't follow as much. So that's why you see NZD is a little weaker when it comes to, well, not even a little, it's a lot weaker. And this is why NZD USD is the one that I want to see. I think we get a test. I do think we get a test of this uh, area here, and then it's just a sell-off. You have this, like, we've had this range right here. So we could chop here and then, over here. Let me put my marker on. Oops, I always do this the wrong way. We could chop here and FOMC, we get up here and then it's out of there. Um, and so my first target, obviously, here. My second target is previous quarter low. We do have an imbalance where we might find a little bit of resistance, but we could slide right through that. But this chart right here is so beautiful. It's keep this on your chart. USD CAD, another play that I cannot wait to trade. And then you have so much CAD news next week. So when oil goes up, USD and CAD always benefit from the effects. So you're going to see CAD move higher. Now, the other thing about CAD is there's so much CAD news. I wasn't going to go to this yet, but there's so much CAD news. We have the BOC rate statement on Wednesday, which ironically comes out right before FOMC. So you have CAD, CPI, you have there's something else. Oh, and then CAD on Friday, retail core system. So you might see CAD just jump all over the map. But I expect nothing but positive. Uh, well, I'm sorry. I expect it to be nothing but positive for USD CAD. I expect a complete run up this week on CAD, on USD CAD. I'm sorry. So I don't know what news is going to come out for CPI. I don't know what news is going to come out for the BOC. But I think it'll be negative news or neutral news, which will allow USD CAD to continue rising. So that's on my watch list this week, and this should actually be until USD CHF. This is actually something. CHF is a safe haven currency. So when there's all kind of geopolitical stuff going on, a lot of people move their money into CHF because it actually is it's probably the most balanced, safest currency there is. They don't have too many issues, and it's really why you see CHF pairs consolidate all the time. There's not a bunch of movement, but um, countries do tend to put their money in CHF when there's uncertainty in the world. So I am bullish on USD CHF right now. We might see a little pullback. And just because the dollar is so bullish, um, you, you, it's not going to really reflect how CHF is going to move. But when we go to other pairs, like pound CHF or anything else, we want to see, we're going to be bearish on those pairs. But anything against the dollar, take it with a grain of salt because we're bullish on the dollar on everything. Um, let's see. I actually want to go to JPY pairs real quick. Let's go to my futures account real quick. Well, actually, you know what? We don't need to do that. Let's take a look at. I'm sorry. Weekly forecast. Let's go to pound Aussie. Pound Aussie is another pair that we closed. I'm sorry. We closed on the weekly with that. I'm not a big fan of this wick, but to me that's just a retracement. Um, so what I would like to see, I would like to see some early movement down. I would like to see this gap respected. So um, if we get down to a 4 hour, I don't want to. I don't even want to see us test this area. So this is an area I would like to see some movement from a bounce, even if it's just 1 or 2 days. And um, we set up these failure swings here, and we could move down. Again, I don't want to see a high test of this, and I don't have Euro Aussie, but Euro Aussie this was a better chart for me. But Euro Aussie, same thing. I'm bearish on that as well. But yeah, we could crawl in. Oh, well, I'll just use this. Crawl up and then you know continue down. So Euro JPY is something that something that's beautiful this week as well. We had a crazy sell off. Um, and you do have the BOJ this week too. So be careful. I do expect us to come test these levels here. We did have some divergence with GJ, and but the sell-off was so nasty on Friday that I fully expect us to come take out these levels. You have more failure swings here, um, and it's just I don't see after we get BOJ news. I fully expect yen pairs to finally dump. They pulled a trick on us a couple times this year already, but I fully expect them to dump. And same thing with NZD JPY. This is going to be something I'm looking at too. And if we just go to, I don't even have to draw a level. Like this is just nasty right here. So even if I did projections here, from here to here, our first our first one would be here. This is on a daily time frame. So if I went down to a 4 hour and we're just looking at projections here, actually let me just take it here. All right, we've hit our first one. Our second one would be right around here or even this area. And then you can see on our 4 hour time frame, our fifth is our first. So and we have an imbalance here. So I do expect a complete sell-off. And this is another pair I'll be looking to hold on the personal for a little while. Gold. I'm finally bearish on gold. It's taking a minute. But and typically, in war, you see everybody putting their money in gold. But I think it just was priced in, man. I think everybody saw it coming, and they're, as the kids say, man, they're patching the plugs, man. And it's just it is what it is. But yeah, I'm bearish on gold. I don't have a target, but I am just watching. I'm watching. We just have no strength anymore. But I'm more bearish on silver. But yeah, I don't have any levels for you as far as gold. It's just I'm not looking for anything bullish. After we had this run up here, and then we couldn't move up any higher than 50% of this range. Um, let's look at the 50. Well, barely 50% of this range. This might have even came into OTE. Let's take a look. Yeah, right on. Ah, gosh, man, this thing is getting scary. Um, yeah, so just a continued sell off. And we might get a sell off, a little bounce, and then a continued sell off. Because if we just are looking here, right? So sell off. I always do this. Sell off, a bounce, and then a sell off. Um, and same thing for silver. Um, literally same thing. You could, let's take a look. Um, and same thing with the OTE. Right. So right at 618. So again, sell off, bounce, sell off, and then who knows what the target is, how far we can go. Um, gas is a buy. I if you can buy it on open, listen. If we gap and then we come back into that gap, take a flyer. What do you have to lose? Honestly, same thing with crude oil. Take a flyer. I fully expect us to gap up. I expect us to gap, come back into the gap, and then we're just going to continue higher and maybe take out the highs here. Um, so Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Let's end it with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's actually interesting because you had this dump, you had this so you dump, a lot of money made. All right, then we retrace, and then we dump, and then now we're retracing again. Do we come back up to this level? I don't know. It was a good week for Bitcoin bullishly, but I don't know if we come back into this level. As I'm looking, sorry. So dump, look, and then you have same thing on the lower time frame, right? You had this dump, accumulated, manipulated, dump, accumulated. Maybe we get the manipulation. The only problem is here, like if you look at this last, it's just a slow crawl. So I don't know. Maybe we get something, we pump, we have these equal highs, get up here, and then we dump again. Or it just dumps. I'll be watching both sides. I would prefer to see this move here and then dump to my level. Um, but I don't know if we get that just because it's been so weak for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, literally 7 days. It's been bullish, but it's almost like a false bullish. Um, so if you look at the weekly candle, yeah, we're bullish, but on these dailies, it's just trash. Um, same thing on Ethereum. You got your pump. Oh, sorry. So you have your dump, your pullback, your dump, and now it's pulling back. I would like to see this target hit. I'm actually going to put a alert right there. I would like to see this target hit, and which will coincide right with my buy side target. So if we could get up there before we dump, and then I would like to see this hit. So I'm looking for shorts here if we are able to get up here, which would coincide, literally coincide here, and maybe something like this. So we get up here, break that, um, and that's really it for the week. as I have here, what I'm looking at Dixie being the strongest pair, then your CAD, CHF, your Aussie, your New Zealand, your pound, your euro. I put an X and JPY here because I fully expect JPY to be one of the stronger pairs, maybe even the strongest after BOJ. And BOJ is obviously always tentative, but it's on Wednesday, so they might spit it out. Who knows? After FOMC, during FOMC, who knows? Like it's just gonna be crazy. So it's gonna be crazy volatile this week. But yeah, these are my shorts that I'm looking at, and these are my longs that I'm looking at. So best of luck this week. Appreciate you guys tuning in, listening, and let's make some money.